make a quick follow-up video to address the Cynthia G review that I did about a week ago. I saw many comments come through, a few concerns come through, and so I'm just going to address some of those concerns in this video and hopefully bring a bit more clarity. So something I saw quite a bit, right, is that I am male identified and that I am a mammy. So first things first, let's just start with the male identified. I guess that's supposed to be a bad thing. Now the reason I don't understand that is because, as far as I understand, if you're a heterosexual female, you identify with men that you are attracted to. So I'm not totally sure if that's supposed to be an insult. It seems like it's supposed to be an insult, but I don't see it as one because, yeah, I'm a married woman and I identify with my husband. I identify with the man that I'm attracted to. And as far as I'm concerned, any woman that actually desires to be in a healthy relationship will identify with the person that they choose to partner with. So I don't know if that's supposed to be an insult. I think it is, but it doesn't really make sense to me. I'm like, are you insulting me with a compliment? Secondly is that I'm a mammy. Now, you know, this one was interesting to me because I have my own understanding of what it means to be a mammy, and that has been thrown around to me time and time again. So just to make sure I was correct on my understanding of a mammy, I decided to do a little research and look up what it means in the dictionary. So here is what I found. Now, my first definition of mammy comes from the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, and a black woman serving as a nurse to white children, especially formerly in the southern U.S. The second definition of mammy that I found comes from dictionary.com. It reads, disparaging and offensive, formerly in the southern United States, a black woman engaged to take care of white children or as a servant to a white family. And the third definition of mammy that I found comes from Wikipedia, and it reads, a mammy, also spelled mammy, is a U.S. historical stereotype originating from the South depicting black women who work in a white family and nurse the family's children. So as you can see, mammy, according to all these definitions, speaks to specifically a black woman who is taking care or tending to the needs of a white family, especially white children. So what's a little bit unclear to me is how anything that I said or anything that I presented is correlated with a mammy. Obviously I don't have white children, I don't raise white children. That's not really what I'm talking about at all. And what's really interesting to me is that I was generally called a mammy anytime I was making reference to, you know, working with a black man or some of the positive things that black men were doing, when in actuality, the true definition of mammy is a black woman who is a gatekeeper for white culture or a gatekeeper for white children, specifically under a oppressive system. So again, not really understanding what that's coming from. To me, it sounds like it is a misunderstanding or a misuse of the word. And it just does not really make sense at all to me. Now, here is the thing. I'm not really one for name calling. I find that disrespectful and I think it's unnecessary. Now, as I mentioned, plenty of people came in, you know, had the Dusty comment, had the mammy comments, called me out of my name. To me, that's totally unnecessary, but whatever. The bigger point to me though is that while I certainly did have a lot of negative feedback, I didn't really hear any rebuttals to my points. Now here's the thing, there was one comment in particular that says, hey, you need to take everything this person says with a grain of salt. And I will agree with that point because, hey, I'm human, I don't pretend to be perfect, I don't have it all right, and I'm genuinely open for an honest discussion. I provide, you know, the facts or the data that I have, and I provide my point of view based upon what I believe to be the most factually correct. But if you have, you know, better evidence, if I miss something, I am all open for a discussion. But what I didn't really hear is, you know, honest rebuttals. I just heard a lot of negative feedback, a lot of name calling, a lot of insulting, and I'm like, are we actually really having an honest discussion? Now, there was one point, someone where I think they were trying to maybe provide a good point, and it was specifically this. Basically, they argue that ARPANET was actually responsible for the internet, and that the cell phone, black men did not create the cell phone. So again, I wanted to clarify this point. The black man is responsible for the digital cell phone, specifically 2G. Also, as far as ARPANET, the domain registry.com, that specifically was created by black men by a black-owned firm. So I just wanted to clarify that point, as I did see someone come through the comments and, give those rebuttals. And, after doing my research on those rebuttals, that is what I actually found, and I wanted to clarify. With that said, the bigger issue that I find is that why is there so much energy placed into trying to devalue, debunk, or undermine some of the accomplishments that have been made within the black community? Like, what is that about? I mean, there is such a visceral reaction to saying, oh, a black man did this. Why? What? To me, it makes no sense. Now, I'm not saying that black men are gods, that black women are evil, or another different stuff. I'm just saying, hey, here's some positive things that have happened. Why is there such a visceral reaction? Why are there so many women within the community that are hell-bent on either, overlooking those accomplishments, or trying to devalue those accomplishments, or saying it's not enough? And what I felt like the thing that I saw the most was moving the goalpost. You say, okay, black men don't build. We bring up situations where they built in the past, in the present, and are voting right now, and then they say, oh, well, they're not voting for the black community. Then you say, okay, well, actually these things are impacting the black community. Then you say, oh, well, it's just a few people who are doing that. To which I answer, well, a few people are responsible for advancements within white America and Chinese America. Like, not everyone is a leader. And what I'm seeing is that we are continuing to move the goalposts. And what that really shows me is that we're not having an honest conversation. We're not being genuine. We are working backwards from our conclusion. And the bigger issue to me is this. Anytime I justify blaming somebody else for my own unhappiness, blaming an entire people group, saying, oh, all black men are the problem, or all black women are the problem, or all these people, whatever it may be, anytime I am blaming another person and I am completely unable to be self-accountable and look at whatever actions I may have had, whether big or small, in my own unhappiness or my own situation, then we are missing the point. We are completely missing the point. And, when there is nothing left to be said, when it's like you can't provide an honest rebuttal, you can't say, hey, have you considered this? I disagree with you and here's why, and provide an argument or provide stats or provide information. You just resort to name calling or insulting. Again, that is showing me that we are not having a genuine, honest conversation. As I mentioned before, I don't need to be right. If I missed something, if you have information to share that I have overlooked, please do it. Leave your comments down below or call into my show. I'll be going live Tuesday, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. But if we can't do that, we refuse to be self-accountable, and then anytime somebody says something that does not speak to our feelings, and we call them dusties or mammies or male-identified or whatever, it's like we actually are sick. We're not able to look in the mirror and say, hey, maybe some of what I did was wrong, or maybe some of what I believe is right, but some of it's not right. Like, if you are not able to be self-accountable whatsoever, there is never going to be any chance of actually healing. You can't even talk about healing if you can't identify where you're sick. And some of us, I think, are so just against even acknowledging our own issues or our own shame or our own problems, that we're not even able to get to step one, which is acknowledging and saying, hey, I'm broken here, or hey, okay, I messed up here, or hey, maybe I don't have it all right. I don't have it all right. You don't need to have it all right. That's okay. But if we can't ever accept where we might be wrong, or if we can't ever accept and say, okay, maybe I messed up here, then like I said, there is never ever going to be a chance for any kind of change. And we can't even begin to talk about healing in the community among black women empowerment. That's a lie. It's a lie if you can't even get to step one and recognizing where you yourself are off, or maybe where you have been responsible for your own unhappiness up to that point. So those are my thoughts. Do you agree or do you disagree? Let me know. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye.